second quarter earnings per share of $1.90, missing the consensus estimate by 10 cents. So EPS in the second quarter of $1.90, missing the consensus. As for that iPhone, the number of iPhones the company sold, 51.2 million iPhones in the second quarter, higher than what analysts were looking for. So that is a good number because, of course, the iPhone is driving everything at Apple right now. Its outlook for the third quarter revenue, $41 to $43 billion. So coming in shy again of analyst estimates. So another disappointing outlook, although Apple's notorious for giving conservative guidance. The consensus estimate was for $47.4 billion for third quarter revenue.
We're also seeing 10% increase to quarterly dividend and the share repurchase authorization now up to $175 billion.
Hey guys, I want to jump in too. The guidance for gross margins, what Shannon was just mentioning, really disappointing here. There's a key number for this company. This company has been able to keep its gross margins really high, at least over the last decade or so. Gross margins were expected to be about 39%. That would have been in line with what we'd seen before. They're saying in the third quarter, gross margins are going to come down to 37.5% to 38%. So a midpoint of 37 3/4 for gross margins. And that's a disappointment there, I think. But it could reflect the introduction of a new phone, a new smaller phone where the gross margins might not be as good. But that was a key number a lot of people were looking for. Can they keep gross margins up as they introduce this smaller iPhone that they announced a few weeks back?
Right.
So clearly the sign right there is no, and that's seen as bad news by the markets right now.
Right. Are they willing to sacrifice margin here as they have to continue to sustain their market share? One thing, of course, that we find really interesting as well, Joe, with Apple is the other product segment, right? It's kind of nebulous. It includes iTunes. It includes the watch. It includes all those other things that Apple really needs to develop to kind of take some of the reliance off of the iPhone. $2.19 billion for the quarter, not a lot when you consider how much money Apple brings in overall. $50.6 billion of revenue overall. That's compared with $4.35 billion in the first quarter. So Apple's other product revenue really dropping off there. Presumably to the Apple Watch? I'm not sure.
Meanwhile, on your screen, you're seeing the post-market tick-by-tick action. The stock off 4.7 currently, which I got to say is pretty close to that, what the options market was expecting, 4.63%.
Yeah, good call.
So options markets looking right in line.